gosh, it was actually almost trying to turn left. Wow, I didn't know you could go this way. So I had to disengage there. That guy's hanging out in the middle of the road. No, we don't want to go through the Jimmy John's drive-thru. Navigate to Five Guys. Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a great day. We're going to see if this can drive us here at night all the way to Five Guys. So as you can see here on the screen, just the immense amount of detail here with all the vehicles. It is fascinating still for me, even now after I've seen it for so long, that it can detect both cars behind me and upwards of 3 cars in front of me. You could never see cars that were more than 1 lane away from you, whereas now it just stacks the whole street full of cars. And even if you have parked cars on the side, like you can see all the way over here in the gas station parking lot, there's some cars and I can see them. It might be hard with the camera here, but it maps things at pretty far distances, so the cameras are really seeing those objects and mapping them out. So one thing I've noticed is that this little tentacle, I like to call it a tentacle, this path, the little dotted line, the dotted line, it shows a prediction of the path that it's going to be taking. But I have also noticed that it can change its mind at the very last split second and then change the path. So it does give you an idea of the probability, I should say, because sometimes it will change paths abruptly and then go back to the steady path that remains there for 90+% of the time. But every so often that 10% ends up taking over the intended path, and then that's when it starts conflicting with itself, I've noticed. So it'll go through an intersection and change paths, so it'll turn the wheel really quickly, but then it'll go back to going straight. As an example, it tends to pivot at the very last second. So that's been an interesting observation for me to witness, for sure. But for the most part, I haven't really stared too much at the screen. I would love to be a passenger just to kind of marvel at the graphics a little bit more in detail, because it is really, really incredible how much detail gets displayed. And on the side of the streets, I'm sure certain objects are being displayed, but I haven't really been looking for them. Like there's the 40-mile-per-hour speed limit sign. That all the speed limit signs will show. I don't think it will see, like here it says right turn lane. I don't think it can read that sign and process that right now. So one of the points of this channel is to learn with you. So I'm new to this. There have been some beta testers that have been posting for a very long time that have a lot of history using it and can talk and speak to the improvements that they're seeing. And they're also much more aware of the limitations. And I'll say that is an area that I'm still learning. And I tend to try to intervene as much as possible, which is basically stepping on the accelerator. I try to avoid disengagements, which is probably a bad thing, because disengagements are necessary in a lot of situations. But when I'm testing to the limit, I always check behind me, I check around me, I make sure that it's a safe environment to push it to the limit. And that's something that requires careful judgment. And that's where I think the importance has been placed on having very safe and diligent drivers that are very aware of their surroundings using this beta software. So it's unbelievable to me that Tesla is able to use that safety score just to completely rank a person's driving ability. But it is important. Like, certainly you wouldn't want to abuse this system, because man, oh man, is it far from perfect. It's got a lot of room to grow here. The core, I would say, is down. It can do a lot of the core maneuvers. It's just some of the little peripherals. So here it's going left. Now this is an interesting path. I wouldn't have taken this. The previous path that I was going to have it map out has a really interesting left turn, but here, like I said, it just kind of has a mind of its own. So This is definitely not the track I would take. Now, I would say probably the time is the same for both. Okay, so it's creeping forward. I'm being very, very cautious here, ready to take over. So my hand is on the steering wheel, and it's looking for an opening here, which is impressive. I don't know if it's actually going to try to pull this off. There's a little bit of a gap coming up here between this minivan and the CRV on the right side, and all right, so okay, yellow light. Let's see if it actually pushes through. So I'm partially hanging out of the intersection, and it decided not to go. But as a human driver, usually what happens if you're hanging out, and I'm not that far in the intersection, certainly not interfering with any traffic at the moment. But when you go through this intersection here, as a human driver, you kind of push through that yellow light. So that was an interesting experience because that's the first I've seen it act in this situation where it will not push through a yellow light while it's trying to do a left turn in the middle of an intersection. Okay, so as soon as it turns green, it should be a green arrow, and then it should clear this intersection. Okay, there it is, and it's going all on its own. Nice and smooth there. There is a car behind me, so I'm very cognizant now of that fact. And it picked up to a nice 35 miles an hour, just 5 over the 30 mile per hour limit. My high beams are turning on and off. My brights are turning on and off. See there, they just turn on. So that is something you cannot turn off. And I see there, they just turned off. For the most part, it behaves well enough to not annoy people. But I have had one situation where the driver on the other side of the road got a little bit upset with me. Okay, and turning right here. Well done. Well, very well done. Brights are turning on. Has a very good transition there. The brights are on. So now these cars ahead of me, hopefully, okay, there it turns off. So it does detect vehicles in front of you are coming up on you and will intelligently turn them on and off. I personally think it does a good job of it. Okay, so it's going to have to find this. Ooh, I have not taken this. I didn't know you could do this. Let's see if it finds a way that I don't know about already. Cutting through a back entrance, it appears. Wow, I didn't know you could go this way. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's actually a real entrance. Very interesting. Never knew about that. Now trying to turn left here, it actually missed that left and now struggling. Oh, it's out of control. So I don't think it knows where it's going right now. Ooh, it's actually pulling through a Jimmy John's drive-thru right now. No, we don't want to go through the Jimmy John's drive-thru. Oh, that is really funny. So the car thought I wanted to have Jimmy John's and not Five Guys. So let's see if we start it here, how it makes it out to the Five Guys entrance. Okay, so we'll go ahead and turn it on here. And now it might see this other car. Okay, turning the corner. Very careful about hitting the curbs. I'm impressed with that. They've really mastered that. I saw some very early videos where, and here we are. This is Five Guys. I saw some really early videos where it would just run right into curbs. So it looked like they made some significant improvements in that area, which is fantastic. And I think that's part of the reason why they've released it. I think they're confident enough that it's not going to cause significant damage to vehicles anymore by running over curbs. I mean, otherwise they wouldn't have released it. So we are here, and we're going to go pick up our burgers here. So, all right, we are dialed in, and we have some precious cargo in the back. So I'm going to be very careful. Don't want to disturb the hamburger meat. I'm going to turn on these really cool LED lights that I got. Make the ride back a little bit more pleasing. Alright, so to leave, we have to put it in reverse first. Full self-driving beta will not drive in reverse. So we just have to get it started. And then we just simply put it into drive and take my hands off the steering wheel. We look around, make sure it's safe, and we double tap down. When this blue icon is turned on, full self-driving beta is engaged. So here's something interesting. It almost went into that car. So of course, I'm going to stop it. I don't know why it didn't see that car, but it was almost going to go like right into it. So I'm not sure why. And maybe it would have stopped, but I'm not willing to risk that. So we'll start it on here in a safer zone. So I had the steering wheel all the way turned to the right. So I did give it a difficult chance right from the start. So I always get nervous going around these curves because if it clips it too much, especially on the steeper curbs, it will damage the rims. So okay, there it had a chance to go. Now this is where a camera mounted on the top of my car would look really, really nice. But it is definitely not safe to go at the moment. But it was when we first pulled out. It was being extra cautious. If someone had been behind me, I would have nudged it forward and said, "Hey, let's go. It's clear." Still, there's no one behind me, so I'm going to let it do what it needs to do. It's being very cautious, okay? And it gets out. And once it gets on the road here, it took off. So immediately 30 miles an hour. That was very well done, considering that there was no traffic. If there was some traffic, I definitely would have had to have intervened there. All right, and then it needs to get in the right lane here. I'm confident it will, but usually it does it too late. It's doing it kind of in the middle of the... Okay, and it should slow down here. There's a red light. I'm ready to stop here any second in case. Of course, there's lots of cars, and I see them, and the car does see them. So this is an area where I understand it's gotten a lot better. So it's amazing how much it can actually see. If I put up the back cameras here, you may or may not see some cars, but it's using those side cameras to detect whether it's safe or not. And it definitely is safe. It can go, so it's creeping forward. I am watching very carefully. It stays in the right lane. Nicely done. Some cars coming up on the left side. That was very, very good. So I have it in the average setting. There is an assertive setting for full self-driving beta, and I think it may be time to try testing that. I have not tried it before, so here it's going to go through this intersection. Ooh, it was going to change lanes there in the middle of the intersection, but then it stopped at the last second. Not exactly sure why it did that. But if we go to the autopilot setting, you can change it to the assertive profile. And in this profile, it says it will have a smaller follow distance, and it will perform more frequent speed lane changes, and it will not exit passing lanes, and it may perform rolling stops. So rolling stops are performed in the average profile as well, so no difference there. Okay, so I'm keeping my eyes on the road here and my hands on the wheel, ready to take over any minute. And the area that I realize needs a little bit of improvement on my part is being ready to brake more frequently. I've been very trusting of the system, but of course only to the point where it's comfortable, and that's a judgment call, and some people have a different judgment than others. So you do have to be especially conscientious of the drivers around you. The car smells so good with Five Guys right now. Oh my gosh. Okay, slowing down because this car is out in the middle of the road. What is going on here? So I had to disengage there. That guy's hanging out in the middle of the road. Stupid. Some people, I'll tell you. So, I mean, the other cars are going real close to him, but the Tesla did the right thing there. That guy should not have been there. Should be getting in the left lane here. Upcoming lane change. So you can see up here, this blue bar will come down indicating there's an upcoming lane change. So I can tap on this blue, a little bit of a reach with the extended display here, but if I tap on that blue area, it will cancel the left lane change command. Then it'll just come right back. So that's what happens on Navigate on Autopilot when you're on the highway. That message will come up, so you do have the ability to cancel before it turns on the left blinker. So that is nice, it gives you that option. So of course I have zero issues with it changing lanes, and often I hope or wish that it would change lanes sooner. So right now it's putting on its blinker. It took the blinker off, so the blinker went on and then right back off again. So this is risking it a little bit, considering that the next road we need to get in the far left to turn left. So it's lucky. So it's getting very lucky because there's no car in the middle lane right now, and now it does need to get over by one more. There is a gap. One of these cars should turn blue here. Here we go. So this truck here on the back left should turn blue. Let's go there. Because it's contending with that truck to get in the left turn lane. So now it's speeding up. It's panicking, as I certainly would as a human. And I think it's going to actually miss this, guys. This is actually really pathetic. Okay, the guy in back of me, he went around me. And lucky that, wow, yeah, it's really messing this up. So, okay, now it's actually slow. Oh my gosh. It was actually almost trying to turn left through the intersection. Shoot. It should definitely not have done that. So I had to take over there. It was actually trying to turn left while, and my left blinker is still on. Ooh, let me turn that off. Come on. Okay. It had a very unusual behavior there. So definitely not the way it should have operated. All right, we are back. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.